All right, so for this game, we have essentially a sequencing game with the days of the week to play with. Now, the days of the week themselves happen to be just Monday through Saturday, so we can set it up accordingly. Now, there is one slight curveball out they throw, which is that we're only given 5 elements, even though we have 6 days. So we have G, L, N, P, and Q are our 5. And they do sort of clarify it further in the first 2 rules. So just to kind of quickly go through that, the first rule is that everything has to go at least once. So everybody here effectively gets represented. And then they tell you that one of the specials is given twice, which is kind of obvious if everybody has to go at least once, and it's non-consecutive. So the fact that everybody goes at least once, we'll just kind of take a mental note of that. But we can say that whoever doubles up is definitely not going to be on 2 consecutive days. And there's only going to be one because we know that everybody goes at least once. So we have basically 5 days accounted for. There's only 1 extra day that we have to kind of worry about here. Next, so the third rule tells us that G and N are going to go exactly once. So that's kind of good to know. G, N each go exactly once. Next, Q are the special the day before G is offered. Now notice that that's not bidirectional. In other words, that's conditional just on G. In other words, Q has to go the day before you have G, but you don't necessarily have to have a G the day after Q. So we can kind of set this as a conditional statement that says, if you have a G, then you'll have to have a Q immediately before that G. But you could have Qs independently. Now I guess it's a given that G only goes once according to the previous rule, but that means that we could potentially still have 2 Qs and only 1 G, because the second Q doesn't have to be associated with that first G. Next, P is Thursday but not Saturday, so I guess we can say P has to be on Thursday. P certainly cannot be on Saturday, so we can essentially just plug that right in. P is definitely going to be on Thursday, and we can leave a reminder here that P is not on Saturday. And lastly, F is not going to, Friday does not get quesadillas, so Q cannot go on Friday. And we can leave a little reminder here that says that Q is not going to be Friday. Except, wait a minute. If Q can't be Friday, and we know that Q would have to precede any G that exists, that means that G certainly cannot be on Saturday, because for G to go on Saturday, then you would have to have Q right before it, right? That wouldn't work. And I guess since we're here, G certainly couldn't go on Friday either, because for G to go on the Friday, Q would have to go right before it, but that's already taken by P. So we can say that G certainly cannot go on Friday either. In fact, that means that wherever the G goes, and you're going to have that GQG block, there's really only 2 places it could go. It certainly can't go anywhere toward the end here. It would have to go either Monday, Tuesday, or Tuesday, Wednesday. So we have something that we can work with and we can exhaust the game based on. So we'll do exactly that. We can say that the QG block is either going to go Monday, Tuesday, or it's going to go Tuesday, Wednesday. And Thursday, obviously, is still going to be pizza. Now, in terms of this other side of the board, we do have a little bit more flexibility, because who do we have left? We still have N, who's only going to go once, but who hasn't showed up yet. We still have L, who can arguably go once or twice. And we still have P. Well, to be fair, P certainly couldn't go on Saturday, but actually, P also couldn't go on Friday either, because we've already got P on Thursday, and we can't have them consecutively. So let's disregard that. P can't go on Friday or Saturday. But we still, as we said, we could still have L, we could still have N, and we could still have Q as well, who could show up a second time, either on Friday or Saturday. So we have a little bit of flexibility on what could happen over here. So I guess from here, let's just jump into the questions themselves and see where they take us. So question number 8 says, if a linguine special is offered the day before a pizza special is offered, well, first of all, if we have to have an L immediately before any time we have P, that means that we're no longer allowed to have 2 P's, because if we were to have 2 P's, we would have to have 2 L's, and that certainly wouldn't work. Moreover, if there's only 1 P, and that P has to have L before it, that effectively locks us into the first scenario, because in the second scenario, P cannot have an L right before it. So we can pretty much jot down that first scenario, and we know that if L has to go before the P, then L has to go on the Wednesday. Now, worth noting, we could still have another L, right? Just because L has to go before P doesn't mean that you'll have to have a P after every time you have an L. You could just have L's independently. It's just whenever you have a P, L has to go before it. So at this point, we have a little bit of flexibility. We'll have to have an N somewhere on Friday or Saturday. I guess if you really wanted a reminder, you can kind of say you'll have to have N somewhere here. And then otherwise, you could have a duplicate. You could still have not P, we said, but we could maybe still have L. You could maybe still have another Q. So let's see what we can do. The question asks, what could be true? A, Monday is pizza. Well, no, at the moment, Monday certainly is not pizza. Answer choice B, Monday is G. G can't go on Monday either. That's currently Q. In fact, G can never go on Monday. Answer choice C, Tuesday is quesadillas. Tuesday certainly cannot have a Q because currently that's G. Next, Wednesday is N. Well, no, currently Wednesday is L, so that's not going to fly. Answer choice E, Friday is L, and Friday certainly could have L. So the best answer to question number 8 is then E. Next, question number... Well, it looks like the rest of these are global, so we can just pretty much go in order. Question number 9 says, which of the following days cannot have L? Well, if we're looking at the global setup, if we look at our exhaustions here, I mean, Thursday certainly can't have linguine, but unfortunately, that's not an option. But you'll notice that Tuesday also never can have linguine either. Either it's going to be a G or it's going to be a Q, but never anything else. And Tuesday is an option, so we're good to go. The best answer to question number 9 is then D. Next, number 10. What could be true? A, Monday gets G. Well, we definitely know that G can never go on Monday because G always has to have that Q before it, right? We've got that exhaustion where G is either Tuesday or Wednesday. Next, Tuesday gets N. Well, no, Tuesday can only be G or Q. Next, Wednesday gets pizza. Well, no, for Wednesday to get pizza, we would have to be in this top scenario, but you would still have to have P's consecutively, and that would not work. Next, Friday is G. Could we have a G on the Friday? And, well, no, we said that G has to go on Tuesday, Wednesday. The reason being is that if you have G on Friday, you would have to have a Q right before it, and we certainly can't make that happen with P on Thursday, so that wouldn't work. And lastly, S, Saturday gets quesadillas. Could we have quesadillas on the Saturday? And, well, actually, maybe. We could double up on Q, in which case you could have quesadillas on Saturday. The best answer to question number 10 is then E. Next, number 11, which of the following days could have pizza? Well, let's just go through when you can't have pizza. You certainly could have pizza on the Thursday. Unfortunately, that's not an answer choice. But you can't have pizza on Wednesday because that would be consecutive. You can't have pizza on Friday because that would be consecutive. So that would disqualify answer choices C and D right off the bat. We also, as a rule, know that pizza can never go on the Saturday. We have a reminder of that here, so we can disqualify answer choice E as well. And lastly, between Monday and Tuesday, well, you notice Tuesday is either G or Q. It'll never be P, so pizza certainly can't go on Tuesday. So the best answer here is Monday. It looks like Monday is the only other day that you could potentially have pizza. Next, number 12, which of the following could have the G special? Well, gazpacho, we know that gazpacho has to go either on Tuesday or Wednesday. And that's pretty much it, right? Because that was our exhaustion. G could never go anywhere else. So that means that what day could have G? Well, it would be answer choice B, Tuesday, since Wednesday is not really given to us as an option.